Welcome to Drop Zone, a Player Unknown's Battleground podcast. I'm Tim.
I'm David.
Hey, David. This is the second episode, and I still feel like it warrants maybe a little description of what this is. So can you describe it for the many, many listeners?
Sure. I will describe it. So, Drop Zone is about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is a battle royale game made by a one modder PlayerUnknown. So if you are unfamiliar with battle royale games, basically a set up to a set number of people drop in on a map, and depending on if they're playing teams or not, it's either a free for all or you team up either 2-man, 3-man, 4-man squad, and it's last man standing wins. And in this particular game,
pretty fun.
It's up to 100 players.
Yeah, it's great. And you should play it. And if you're listening to this podcast without it, I admire your commitment.
That's right.
Without having played it. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about news and features and community highlights and that kind of stuff on this show. So just so you know what you're in for. So let's start with news.
All right, let's go. You want to take it? You want me to take it?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, go. What you got for me?
So the first thing here that got me excited this week is apparently communities can apply for custom game modes.
That's neat.
So yeah, I don't know if you've watched any streamers who have the ability to do like all snipers or snipers only, or just any number of combinations of the drops and everything like that. It's just there's all kinds of cool stuff they have access to, and also spectating, I believe, is rolled into this as well.
Yes,
they just rolled that out, and if you're thinking, man, I can't wait to get on this. Well, unless you meet some pretty stringent requirements, you might not be able to. But hey, there's hope. At least 200 active members. That's one requirement. A submitted plan to display how you want to use these features. A clear system of listening to your community and hearing their feedback. And a community-facing live stream. So as of now, the Drop Zone podcast is riding high on zero. I mean, I guess we have a clear system of listening to our community.
We have some listeners.
Yeah.
We are aware of a few listeners already.
You guys emailed us, and we emailed back promptly. So I feel like we got one on the list. So we'll keep you guys posted weekly.
Don't get used to that promptness. When we blow up, we're not remembering any of the little people. I'm kidding.
I'm already a diva. It's too late.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's cool. If you are a streamer and you're listening to this and you have over 200 people, reach out to them because it's really cool, and I'd love to get in some of those custom games. So also reach out to me because that'd be really cool.
I was gonna say, definitely, if anybody has a line on some communities that are getting access to this kind of stuff,
hook us up.
Hook a brother up. Like, we want to get in some crazy matches. Speaking of custom matches, I watched Sacriel and Jack Frags and a few other people. It was about a 6-man squad, I believe they had. And then everyone else was... I'm sure they were broken into squads. I don't know if you can put everyone else on the map in one squad, but I noticed people going down or getting knocked out instead of dying immediately. So there was some sort of team element on their side, but it was those 6 guys versus everyone else on the map. And everyone else on the map it was basically zombies. They had to come at them with melee weapons only.
Real good.
And it sounded like, when I heard it, I was like, that has to be easy. But like, by the end of it, there were only 2 of them left, dude. Like the zombies were getting smart and like hanging out near like houses and then just swarming them. It was pretty crazy. It
sounds
really
awesome.
Fun. Yeah.
I'll have to look that video up. Maybe we can put that in the show notes.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's cool. It's real cool.
You want to take the second news item here?
Yes, I will take this. All right, so the patch notes. The patch was released on May 16th, implementing some various bug fixes, and it was also anti-cheat measures for lag switches. This is a quote from the patch notes.
Great.
The characters will now be locked and will not be able to move, rotate, and attack others when the ping exceeds a certain value. There were reports out there of people, almost like dropping from the server momentarily and then coming back in and just kind of moving around like they shouldn't be able to. And so they're taking measures to fix issues like that. And then kind of the bigger note is the flashbang is removed from the game for now. Apparently there was enough reports of the flashbang crashing people's games that they decided to take it out until they could fix it.
I'm unfortunately one of those people. So yeah, last time I saw a flashbang, my game just didn't come back.
That's fair.
I was like, oh, they not only killed me, they destroyed my computer. It was very impressive.
I think I might have been in that game with you.
Yeah, that was bad news. It was slideshow.
I will say that while I don't want anybody to be hindered by a flash or any element in the game, I am sad to see them go, excited to see them return, because while I'm not good at using them tactically, I've been on the receiving end of a few flashbangs.
They're very effective.
They are quite effective. Hiding in the bathroom does not help.
Flashbangs are awesome. It's a really cool tool, and I hope that it does come back soon. And just flushing a building and that kind of stuff is a little less scary because you can't always lob a grenade the right direction up some stairs, but a flashbang might get them.
Right.
Especially if they're watching for you. So yeah, there's some definite value that. So I hope it comes back around here shortly.
For sure.
All right, I'll grab the next one here.
Yeah.
Motion capture. So if you guys follow PlayerUnknown on Twitter, this is kind of a big note, not necessarily in the content itself, but just there's a lot that he showed. So I would head to his Twitter feed and take a look, and we're going to link in the show notes to all of these as well. But he showed some vaulting. So they're doing some motion capture for vaulting.
Yes. I'm super excited.
There's not really much more to say than it looks like some dude vaulting, but it looks awesome, and I can't wait for it to be in the game.
Yeah, that's something that I think the game, I wouldn't say desperately needs, but it is going to be a welcome addition to the game.
As someone emailed us this week, fences have an issue. We have issues with fences.
Yeah.
Wes emailed us, and he was very clear about his dislike for fences. It was quite hysterical.
Yeah, it was very funny.
No, that's true though. Like there have been times where I'm hustling to get in a building because I don't want to get killed, and then I forget, oh yeah, if you don't get a running start, you're not getting over that fence. Right. Or heck, it's, I know in real life this fence is like 4 feet tall and I could get over it in a hurry, no problem. But nope.
Yeah, and I would be interested to see, obviously there's going to have to be some sort of, vaulting's going to take a second, so it's not going to be a quick getaway, but I've been in situations where if I could have been able to vault, I might have gotten over the edge before they killed me. You're
kind of exposing yourself because you're stopping at this point for a second, even if you are moving a little bit. So I think there probably will be some balance there where, hey, you can't act until you're over that wall.
Right.
So that's going to basically be like a do or die kind of moment. You got to get lucky. The second thing he showed was applying bandages, which is cool. This is just like
it's just flavor,
quality of life thing. It's cool to know. Like again, I said this last week, that kind of being able to look at somebody and see their healing or drinking I almost said potion, which would make this game better. Drinking an energy drink,
right?
So it's that's just a cool one there. I saw something on there that I'm assuming this is me doing some editorial work here. A Machete Takedown. And it would look like, running behind the person and hitting with a machete in the neck, and then taking them down to their knees and hitting them again.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure how that works because this game is pretty hard to sneak up on anybody. But hey, maybe. That'd be cool if they added some surprise attacks.
At least, there'd probably be a lot of that at the start of the game when everybody's touching down.
True. Good point. Very good point. And I guess you could come storming in a building and someone be looking over, through their sights and you get them.
Right.
So it's always a possibility.
Well, and there is that there is a slow walk mechanic. I don't know if you can hear people moving at that point at all. I haven't actually noticed.
I think there's a creak, but I doubt that you'd know it over the noise of your own character and that kind of stuff. Someone send a correction in for that.
Yep.
Let us know.
Let us know how wrong we are.
Yeah. And there's some odds and ends on here, and I'm not going to go through each one individually, but they show a hand-to-hand takedown with me punching this person on the ground, and it looks great. Down squad member takedown is my guess on what this
that one's is pretty cool.
And it looks like they're fixing up some existing running animation with a pistol.
Yep.
Which is great. This game is a little rough around the edges, and I think that has a lot of charm to it because of that. But it is nice to see that they're working on not only the big stuff like the lag switch and various bugs, but they're also working on the little stuff that just makes it a much smoother process and kind of just keeps you in the immersion. Because that's one thing about this game, that even if it kind of looks goofy, it's immersive as can be.
It's very immersive for sure.
I was playing solo the other day and got shotgun in the back and nearly jumped out of my chair. So I haven't had that happen in a video game in a really long time.
Yep. Every time that we're on a map and it's raining, the lightning and thunder never ceases to not scare the crap out of me.
Yeah, I think that is there only to scare you. I know that people probably use it strategically, but I can't physically use it strategically because I'm a coward.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for news. There's probably some other stuff out there, and if you heard anything cool this week that you want us to cover next week, shoot us an email and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I know that there is there's a hopeful patch tonight or tomorrow
Yes.
I don't know whether they're going to get it out or
early.
not, but they had planned to at least try to get it out. So, we'll be able to talk about that next week as well.
Very, very good. So highlights. Highlights is a little section where we just kind of go through the stuff we saw this week from the community that we thought was neat and deserved a little recognition. And one I really liked, and I don't know how useful it'd be in game, but as for like maybe planning or figuring out like, hey, what's the best between these two weapons? If I had to pick between the two, there's a website called PUBG DMG stats. So like PUBG damage stats, which I think is how you pronounce PUBG, right? It's PUBG.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it.
That's how I read it when I read it. So, but yeah, it's PUBGDMGstats.com, and basically this is by a guy Forkinator on Reddit. Basically, it lets you take different loadouts and compare them to each other, and then it gives you a breakdown of like what a headshot would be, what a body shot would be, and what a leg shot would be, depending on what kind of armor you're wearing or what kind of gun you're carrying. They're carrying. It's really neat, and it's definitely early. Kind of he kind of said it's a little rough around the edges, but It's really neat and kind of fun to play with. If you're curious how many shots it takes to take somebody down, it's a really good quick reference. And there's another highlight.
Just to kind of piggyback on that. It's really cool. Actually, there's also a very snappy mobile interface for this PUBG damage stats.
I have not played with it on mobile. That's very exciting.
It's very cool. I mean, you can already drag everything around with a mouse, but you can also drag the weapons to the slots on your phone. So it's neat. It's a nice.
It does some interesting stuff. Rather than giving you hey, here's your percentage or whatever. It tells you, hey, you got shot with an AK, and the amount of times you can get hit in the head is this many.
Also, shout out to there are presets that you can just select for the characters, and they're all really funny. There's one that's Iron Chef, and he's definitely just got a frying pan, and it tells you how much damage you'll do to the other person. It's great.
I did click through and see a floating chicken. Dance in the corner of the screen. So I'm on board 100%.
It's a cool site.
This site.
Yeah, so to piggyback off of that, the second highlight, actually, according to the notes at the bottom of the PUBG damage site, this video was helped in kind of them figuring out the damage stats. It's a Jack Frags Mythbusters video. We'll have a link to that in the show notes on YouTube. Jack Frags is a very popular YouTube personality. He streams a lot with Sacriel. And they put together they got access to the custom servers and kind of got a couple of them together and basically laid out a bunch of weapons on the ground and started picking them up one by one. And then the other person would stand the set number of yards away in different states of armor. And they just kind of go through it and tell you how many shots it takes with each gun, be it a headshot, a body shot, and how many shots it takes to down or kill them, and then if they have armor, how many more shots it takes. It's very interesting. You should check it out. It gives you a good idea.
14 minutes.
Yeah, it gives you a good idea of what each of the guns do.
Yeah, I learned some valuable stuff watching it. Actually applied it to the last time we played, depending on like what gun choice I would choose if I had to pick between two.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool and valuable information. And this is basically, the website is just a quick reference, and this is just a very in-depth, deep dive into the same statistics that you'd see on the site itself. And so, yeah, I'd highly recommend it. I sat through 15 minutes of a video unintentionally, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
They're very good at describing the nuance of all of that as well. So you're not going to be bored. I'd highly recommend it.
Right. Want to take this next one?
Yeah, the last thing on here is, I actually downloaded this, is the Android Interactive Map app, early access from xMiolo.
Sure.
xMiolo.
Miolo.
Sure. xMiolo. And he's on the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds forums, is where I saw this. He put together an Android app that lets you have like a portable version of the map. And I know that you could pull up a picture from like Imager or whatever on your phone, but it's pretty neat. You can actually toggle off and on the different gun locations depending on like what kind of loot you'd get. You can toggle on cars and where cars can spawn as opposed to where they do spawn. It's really neat, and it's still rough around the edges. Like I said, it's an early access kind of thing on the Google Play Store. And so you should check it out if you have an Android phone. I'm going to use it tonight when I play this game some, because I never know where anything is.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have two monitors.
It is.
So
it's very neat. There is hopeful plans to possibly bring it to iOS. So if you're an iOS person, hold out hope. It could come to there as well.
Yeah, he's piloting this right now, it looks like, and it has some promise. There's some weirdness with it. Once you play around with it a little bit, it's pretty dang neat, and I'd recommend it.
It's very reminiscent. If you do have the luxury of a second monitor, there's also on the subreddit, there is an interactive map you can pull up that is very much like, in fact, he may have based his map off of that map, for all I know. I pull that out from time to time to kind of get an idea of vehicle spawns.
Yeah, and it's pretty useful. I just like the idea of, hey, I don't have a second monitor. I can pull up my phone very quickly while we're on the plane and say, this is where we're going. And that kind of gives me a resource that I didn't have before. So I'm pretty excited to try it out. And maybe if it ends up being pretty useful, we'll report back on it as it updates. The only thing I would say is if you try to grab this from the Android store, you're going to have issues trying to find it. So I would head to the forums and follow the link the guy placed there. It is, from what I can tell, it is a Google Play link, if that makes anyone feel better. And not to mention, it doesn't ask for any permissions on your phone.
Right.
So there are two things there that kind of made me happy about it. And it is in another language, though, when you do click the link, the title. But the app itself is in English.
And you can get to that forum post in our show notes.
Yes, that'll probably be the easiest way to find it. You could try Googling it. You could try searching the store, but you're probably not going to find it, not easily anyway. And I'm not sure what language it is, and I'm not going to give it a try because I don't want to sound like an idiot. So I'm not going to try to pronounce it. But I would go check it out if you're interested in that at all.
What's next?
I guess emails.
Emails.
Guys, we got some emails.
We asked for emails.
And you guys delivered.
We got emails from people we technically didn't even ask. I mean, I guess we did ask for you guys, but we didn't know you were there. So
yeah, and it's kind of neat to have. We have an email. There's people, you out there. I feel like I can almost touch you. I don't want to touch you, but I feel like I could. Yeah, and that's what's really important.
That's what matters.
So you want to take the first one?
I will take the first one. All right. This comes in from Jack. He says, "Hey guys, love the first show. Been playing Battlegrounds for about a month now and haven't been this addicted to a game since I first picked up League. I would assume League of Legends. The only thing is I don't have a lot of friends to play with. I do have friends that own the game, but a lot of them aren't as into it as I am. Shame on your friends. Therefore,
exactly.
I play a lot of solo and the occasional duo and squad game with randos, but it's not as fun because a lot of people don't talk to you. So if you guys would ever want to play sometime, I'd love that. Let me know." Jack, thank you for the email. And I believe Tim's already let you know, and we will let you know at the end of the show how maybe possibly we can get a play date together.
Yeah, we've got some ideas. We'll get into that. So stick around and we'll discuss that at the very end. And we'd love to play with you guys too. Just putting that out there.
For sure.
So Wes sent us a bunch of questions.
Yes, he did.
Mr. Wes sent us like 30 questions, and I'm not against that at all. It was awesome. It's great to have so many questions. And
you got more sent. A
lot of them were like high quality, and only like one or two were terrible. I mean, out of 20, I'm just messing with you, Wes. It was really great to get a lot of feedback, and we appreciate it, Wes. So let me go ahead and we just picked out two from his questions. We're going to spread them out over the week. This is like Wes's corner, Wes's minute, because he gave us enough to go over. Yeah, he gave us enough to go over a couple weeks. So Wes wants to know what our favorite loadout is, probably excluding crate guns. Why don't you go first, David?
All right, so I'm still on the tail end of figuring out my favorite loadout, but I would have to say that I am partial to the M416.
Yeah.
With a decent scope. I honestly like it 2 times, maybe a 4 times, but a red dot or a 2 times is kind of where I like to hang out on that. And I mean, no one's going to turn down a Car 98. I do love that gun, but I'd have to say if I had to go with a second gun, I'm finding either a shotgun or a UMP to be my favorite secondary. It seems that for whatever reason, I personally run across a silencer for a SMG more often than I do for an AR. So I'm happy to roll with a silenced UMP. I can still do some damage with that.
Yeah.
As far as melee goes, like obviously a pan. If I can find a pan,
it's the only weapon in the game.
It's the only melee weapon that matters.
Every other weapon in the game is just like set dressing. I didn't even know you could pick up a crowbar until someone showed me the other day. I thought a pan was the only weapon.
And I'm trying to get better about using grenades. So I pick up every grenade I see always, but I've just in the past week or week and a half started really trying to implement frag grenades into my play.
Yeah, I just die with 20 grenades on my body.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
So, no, you actually David got a pretty good kill with a grenade the other day.
I did.
Right near the end of we were top 3 or something like that.
Yeah, we were like number 3, man.
And it was just like, hey, you got a grenade kill. And it was like a very clutch moment. So I was like, hey, I'm proud of you, son. Yeah, David's not technically my son. We're still working on the paperwork.
Yeah, it's still a process.
That's a good loadout. I'm kind of similar in loadout. I want an AR of some kind. It's not necessarily super picky on which one. And I would like to grab a shotgun as well because I can't aim worth crap. So I usually grab any shotgun is preferable for my second slot. I do like to have a 2x scope or a red dot sight as well.
Yep.
Although a 4x isn't too bad either. It just kind of depends on the game we're playing, whether or not we're riding a circle or chilling in a house. That kind of depends on the strategy we're going for.
Right.
Of course, armor. I want level 3 everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we need to get into that. Also, the puffiest jacket you can find. Very important gear. If you want to succeed in the battleground, you need to have the puffiest jacket.
The puffiest jacket.
That's going to come out in the patch notes. You wait. It's going to slow a bullet down a little bit. You'll still die, but you'll die a little bit later than everybody else.
Just to note on the loadout thing, something that I noticed some players doing, and I do not do as much, I'm trying to think about doing, is whenever I do find a 4x scope, I usually throw all my other optics out, except for if I've got it attached to another gun. And I've noticed a lot of streamers, and actually people that we've played with, swapping between the red dot and the 4x depending on the closeness of combat, and that's just something I never think about doing. So I would say that I'm trying to make that more of a strategy.
I think that's a pretty good strategy, other than the fact that my APM, my actions per minute, is super low. I have to look down to find the tab key.
Oh,
we're
I got
raising the curtain here.
I got that bound. I got my inventory bound to my my mouse wheel click. So
that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Actually, I should probably do that.
It makes it super
for me,
quick.
it's more of just I feel like an old man now because I'm I can't see with my glasses very up close anymore. I'm not that old, guys, I promise, but I can't see up close, so I kind of got to look underneath my glasses to see, so I look down. It's one of those moments where it's like, this is just surreal. I'm aging in front of myself. I'm seriously watching myself age as I play this game. And then David's he's only a year younger than me, but he's spotting dudes off dude, that could be that could be like a speck of dust on your screen for all I see.
I do spot people all the time, and Tim goes, "Where do you see that guy?" I'm like, "He's right here." He's like, "I don't see anything." I'm like, "Well, he's gonna kill us."
Yeah, I think that did end up being the downfall of us. That's why I always give you the sniper rifle, because I'm pretty much useless.
Yeah,
I'm a good meat shield, and that's what I'm going for. So.
He's the distraction.
Yeah, my favorite loadout, honestly, is just frying pan. Straight up, only a frying pan.
The most intimidating of loadouts.
I like to go all Assassin's Creed and hide on rooftops and jump down and frying pan somebody. It usually doesn't go very well.
But it looks cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Wes, that was definitely more than a minute. We got one more from you. This is favorite landing spots. He says, I'd be interested to hear what your favorite popular places, quote, popular places to drop, like Pachinki or Rozhok, and your favorite unpopular places to drop, like, these 5 houses northeast of Pollyanna or whatever. Why? What do you prioritize in your drop, and is it availability of loot or being further from other players? Tim, you go first. What are your thoughts?
That's a good question. I'm bad at picking a place to drop. It usually ends up being, you know what? I'm going to go over here because the plane's not going over that. I'm going to find a car and I'm going to drive over there. And then I land and never find a car. And so it's like, well, I guess I'm in these farmhouses. So lately, since that strategy has been failing me 80% of the time, lately I've been just dropping off wherever I am, which surprisingly has been working out in my favor. It honestly depends on the plane's direction. A few places I like to go for populated is the radio tower.
Yep.
I like landing on the roof there. It offers a little bit of, hey, you might get an extra boost. I found a sniper rifle with a silencer and a level 3 helmet and some other backpack and some other stuff, an AR of some kind, on the roof one time up there, and also had relative security, just because you're on the roof and no one can hit you just yet. And so I kind of like that as a drop if I can pick it. The apartments are fun. I haven't done the school very much, but The one time I did do it, it worked out great, so I should probably think about that more often. As for the lower level drops, oh man, that's difficult because it's kind of usually just a house in the distance. It's like, hey, what are people not aiming for?
Right.
There's usually a little less thought about that.
Right. So as far as places, we'll move to this question in sections. I tend to agree that especially if we're playing duo or solo, if I can hit that radio tower, I'm going to try and go for it. Like he said, there's always enough loot there for 2 people. Squads is probably not a good idea to drop there unless you plan on going into Novo or the military base outskirts if you want. But for 2 people, 1 people, there's definitely enough loot there 9 times out of 10. And I would say the other places that I like to drop is Yasnaya. I think it's Yasnaya or Pollyanna. Maybe that's the same thing. It's the police building and the admin building. And actually some people that we play with kind of turned me onto that. And we typically, if we can't actually just float there, we'll drop for a car in Pachinki and then drive over there and loot those places. It usually goes semi-okay. Most of the time what happens when we drop there is we get very well looted up and then get caught by another squad while we're looting the rest of the place. So it's kind of hit or miss on that. As far as other unpopular places, I would say the one that seems to never go well for us is whenever we drop at the school. The apartments can go well most of the time, but the school I've had go bad more than good. And the gun range is usually always a terrible idea, although it can be hilarious.
Yeah, that's usually when you want to get right in the thick of it.
Right.
I think estate is kind of in the middle there for me.
I think people are actually, we haven't dropped there in a while, but I don't think people are dropping at the estate as often as they were at the beginning of this game's life cycle.
Yeah, estate has middle of the road stuff.
Right.
So
it's usually
it was a safe bet usually. But I think the last 2 times we did it, we got murdered. So
yes.
it kind of got scared to jump in there. What was the end of this question?
It says, what do you prioritize when you drop? Availability of loot or being further away from other people?
That is a great question. It depends on how aggressive I'm feeling like playing, which sounds kind of like a weird excuse, but sometimes like when I play solo, I just want to kind of just hide in the mountains here and then huff it and ride the circle.
Right.
To the, and then hopefully near the end kind of get towards the middle. But when we play squads, we tend to do a little more aggressive, trying to go for the places where people are dropping because we want to get the good weapons quick.
Yes.
Because I don't know about you, but usually it's like 20 seconds in, you hear people getting shot.
Yeah,
and so
it can be
a lot of times it's like I need to get in the building, I need to get the best gear I can get possible, and give myself the best odds to succeed in that. So that's my kind of philosophy.
I would basically agree. I would say that whenever you and I play duo, being aggressive has worked out for us lately. So I am a fan of being more aggressive than we were when we first started. But when I do solo, I actually try and avoid people.
Yeah.
It works out for me better. Whether I've only won solo once and I really don't even remember, like I still can't figure out how I did it, but I dropped at a state and the circle just kept closing in on me. And I was able to hang out in a house until like the final circle. And then I got 2 or 3 guys that came in looking for loot there. And then I just hung out until the last guy, he thought I was coming from a different direction. And I caught him behind a tree. But
the circle chose you.
Yeah, the circle basically chose me on that one. But yeah, usually when I play solo, I'm not as aggressive as I probably could be. But I usually last at least in the top 20s most of the time.
Yeah, but I would say that maybe I'm like projecting here, but I think that might be the way everyone is. Because when you don't have someone watching your back, it's a little harder to be as aggressive. But when you run up against a very aggressive player, it's real easy to get killed if you're not in the right mindset.
Yes.
That happened to me the other day. I got mowed down. I got scared and laid down, and the dude just came from the direction I wasn't looking and killed me.
Ugh. That's the worst.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Like I said, I jumped out of the chair. This was the same guy who shotgunned me. I wish I had his name so I could call him out on this podcast and tell him for he just did a great job and almost killed me. So you want to go into correction?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take our lumps.
Yeah, okay. Here, I'll read this first one here.
Okay.
Hello, Tim and David. Thanks for doing this podcast. I'm digging it so far. So I appreciate it. Actually, this is, let me go ahead and start from the beginning. This is from Supa.
Yes.
As the title suggests, you guys had said something on the show that is one of my pet peeves. I'm a minor gun enthusiast, and as your podcast is about realistic shooter, I feel people should be informed and use the correct terms. The object that is used to house and feed rounds into a gun is the magazine. It is not a clip. Many people use this term interchangeably, but a clip is its own thing. I believe if you reload Car 98, it has an internal magazine, and the animation actually shows you using a clip to load the magazine. This is why there isn't extended or quick draw magazines for the Car 98. Anyway, sorry for my first email using to complain, but I needed to share. Great show. Looking forward to more. Super. Actually, really appreciate the correction.
Yes.
For a guy who lives in Alabama, you feel like I would know more about guns, but I don't.
Yeah, we have no idea.
I have fired many guns, but I don't know very much about them because, I grew up in a military family who didn't really have any. So it's kind of with friends. So feel free to educate me on guns. I'd like to not sound like an idiot when we stream or talk to other players in the game.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Super. That was great information.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. We'll do our best not to use really dumb terms like call bullets food gun or anything like that. Gun
it's
food.
The bullet banana. You clip it in the bottom. It throws the lead. The lead thrower.
Gun fruit. That's what bullets are. Gun fruit.
It's the automatic catapult.
So thank you, Super, for that. I'll take this next one.
Sure.
Dewan called us out on the charity and not knowing the name of it. Whoops.
He was very generous. He was very kind.
He was very nice.
Let's go ahead and make sure we say that.
Yeah.
When we say called us out, he was just kind of like, hey, you guys can do better than this.
Come on,
and that's
guys.
not a bad thing.
We have I have the internet right in front of me. I could have looked it up and I didn't. So I actually didn't want to hear you guys to hear me typing. That's why I didn't look it up.
Yeah. So we're going to correct that now.
We're going to correct that now. So the charity that the invitational that happened about 3 weeks ago now, the charity that they benefited and raised right at around $200,000 was Gamers Outreach. And I'm just going to give you a quick blurb about it so that you know it's a really cool organization. Gamers Outreach focuses on kids and teens as they undergo treatment in hospitals. By making the world of games and entertainment accessible to the disabled and sick, Gamers Outreach is able to help these children cope with feelings of isolation and provide a sense of normalcy. So it's a really cool charity. Very cool. And very neat that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and the group around them decided to choose them for support.
Yeah, I mean, the community that we're a part of raised $200,000 for a cool charity. Yeah, that's neat. That's something I'm proud to be a part of. Yeah. So good job, guys.
So all right, thank you, Dewan.
And here's the last one here.
Close to last. There's one more. It's very small.
Sorry.
I added it today.
I see. Damon Dome on Reddit. He said, at the end, one of you said that if you knock down 2 players in a squad and your friend kills that last one, your friend will get credit for all 3 kills. This is definitely incorrect. If you knock a player down, you will always get credit for the kill unless someone else kills him. You will get credit if he dies to the play zone, if your friend wipes the rest of the squad before you finish him, etc. I don't remember saying that, but I feel like I did. And so I'm going to own up to it here. Yeah, and so that's good information to know. So we misled you last week on purpose.
That's right. We were just
you caught us in the lie.
And
we do one lie every episode. And you got to try and find it. And that's the game. No, we're just bad
Spot
at this.
the liar. That's it.
We're just unfortunately terrible at this. Yeah. All right, you take the next one.
All right. So this comes from Mediocre Puddle on Reddit, which I like that username. So
that's a good name
for that. He said the map size is all over Reddit. Come on, guys. So he's very nice about it. He just said that, we probably could have found that information out. It was honestly, I just said it. I talked about the map size and then remembered I don't know enough about the map size. So that's on me. We didn't really plan to mention that too much and dwell on it as much as we did. But for those of you who wanted to know, the map size is 64 square kilometers, or if you're us Americans, that's 24.71 square miles.
So how many megabytes is that?
I don't know.
See, I don't actually see distance. I can only see in
I only
data,
see the code.
So, yeah. It's like the Matrix for me every day.
So thank you.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
for the emails.
Yeah, thank you for your emails. And before we roll into the announcement, I think it'd be good to say, if you want to email us, you can email us at mail@dropzonecast.com. That's right. We actually got a real email address. It's not a Gmail anymore. So let me repeat that. It's mail@dropzonecast.com. And you can send your questions, comments, corrections, general disdain. If you want to just harass us, it's fine.
You want to send us a cool clip of you being cool in the game?
Send us something for highlights. We want to see what you guys are enjoying. And we don't see everything the community is doing and the cool stuff that they're doing. So send it to us. We'll take a look, and if we think it's a good fit, we'll talk about it on air. We'd love to take your feedback and your suggestions and make this, again, like I said last week, a part of the community.
Yes.
We want this to be an extension of that. So send some stuff in. And also, if you notice, it's mail@dropzonecast.com. We also bought the URL for the podcast. So if you need to visit the WordPress where we actually organize all of our episodes before we feed it to the RSS feed, you can go to dropzonecast.com and you'll find it there. And if you guys, since it's brand new, if you run into anything, shoot us an email and we'll take care of it for you.
Yep.
We are still working out some technical bugs. This is the first time we've hosted this way. So just feel free to hit us up. We'll take care of whatever we can for you.
Yep. I'll take this next one. So guys, if you want, we would appreciate it if you could rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. Rate us on iTunes, Google Play, wherever you choose to listen to this. If they have a rating system, please rate us. It is especially helpful if you can rate us on iTunes. We've done one podcast before, and we kind of know name of the game at the beginning is to get reviews and ratings to climb those charts and maybe get a little more notice. So if you want to help us grow the community, that's a really good way to do it, is to rate and review us on iTunes. But more importantly, than rate and review, if you don't want to do that, just subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button. We like to know how many people
who's out there.
Yeah, how many people we got listening to us be idiots and be incorrect.
Yeah. And the cool thing with rating and reviewing, the reason why it's important, especially right now at the very beginning of the podcast, we're going to shill a little bit. And the reason I say this is because the first 30 days, I believe, is the time you have to get up on the new and noteworthy on iTunes. And we'd like to blow that out of the water and broadcast this cool show and this cool community we're trying to build with you guys to as many people as possible.
For sure.
So if you rate and review, that'll push us up on that list and that'll get us in front of more eyes. 5 stars means that's how much more likely you think you are to kill us than us kill you.
In the game.
That's what that rating stands for. Yeah. So
not in real life.
It's not a quality of the podcast. Don't worry about that.
You want to take this next one?
Yeah. Check us out on Twitter. It is twitter.com/dropzonecast and facebook.com/dropzonecast. Add us on Twitter. We'll be updating any little thing during the week. We might be retweeting some cool stuff that we see.
Yeah, we're if you check it out right now, it's going to look like we haven't touched it at all, but we're getting on top of it. Yeah, we haven't yet. Yeah. So we're still. I think we've literally created all of this stuff this week. So so
we're still working on it. We kind of launched this thing as a hey, let's get out there and see if anyone wants to listen. And now we're trying to clean up the little dust.
Yeah, now we got emails rolling in, and we're like, oh, apparently people want to listen.
We got to do better. Oh crap, we got to actually
people are paying attention. We need to be more professional already.
If you add us on there and you want to add me personally, you can as well on Twitter. You should see me as following that account. So
yeah,
look
same
it up.
here.
We'd love to get to know you guys in another avenue. And find us on the Reddit. We're on we post.
Yeah, we got to post on the Reddit. We're gonna try and post every time we throw a new episode up until they get tired of us.
As long as they'll tolerate it. And so when that fails, the Twitter will be where you should look. So just so you want to go ahead and do the announcement?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So the announcement is that this is the last step. No, I'm just kidding.
It was a good run.
Get out while we're still hot. No.
Yeah.
So the announcement is that we have a Discord.
Yeah. So we are actually, and let me make sure I get the name right. I think it was Jack had mentioned wanting people to play with, and we thought,
yes.
Well, the best way to facilitate that, because I'm a dad and I work and David works and we're busy and we don't have a ton of time to play necessarily, would be to have a Discord that we could funnel the community into. So if you're a listener and you want to play with us or you want to play with other listeners, we're going to have a Discord ready. It's going to be in the episode notes.
Yeah, the link to get to it will be in the episode notes.
The only 2 requirements are you just need a verified email, an account for Discord, and you just need to yell at an admin when you get in there. There's instructions, and we'll add you to the member team, and you could jump on any voice channel. And we're going to let you guys self-organize games and that kind of stuff. But we just wanted to have an option for everybody to where we could meet up, because that's this game doesn't necessarily have great grouping unless you're Steam friends. It's kind of hard to find people, and so we want to be able to have a place to talk, chat, to do voice chat for in-game, to just hang out as well. So we'll post that in the episode notes and come and join us. We're moderating it ourselves at the moment, so if you don't hear back from us right away, we are checking it. We'll get to you. Check it out. We're very excited about it. We hope that we'll get some games with you guys.
Yeah, and just a side note about the Discord, we are complete noobs when it comes to Discord, so we're figuring out as we go. I don't care if you break. Well, if you break it, please don't break it. But
Or if you break it, let us know what you did.
Roll with this as we kind of figure it out. There may be some like rule changes we have to make. We're still learning. So just be patient with us. And we really want to make this a really cool place for people to come.
And we want you guys to, again, have ownership over this as well, because
that's right.
This isn't a Discord for us to go and have fun and be admins and be mean to people or anything. We want to kind of make this part of the community.
Yep.
And we want to make it so that, you have a place to go play with buddies.
And I'm going to throw this out here.
Friends.
And I'm going to throw this out here. If you have any kind of Discord knowledge, I know there's webhooks and all kinds of things that I'm still reading up on and learning about. If you already have some Discord experience and knowledge, like let us know. Maybe there's a moderator spot for you, something like that. We definitely will be looking to make some mods once this thing starts taking off. So appointing people moderators. So just let us know if you have experience with that, and we can talk privately.
Yeah, just hit us up on there. You can just DM us, and we'll talk about it, or shoot us an email. And again, we're just super excited that there's people listening and want to join us. And so this is just another avenue to get to know you guys and to make some friends. Because at the end of the day, this thing's fun to do. And, it's fun for me and David because we talk about this game all day, but we really just want to connect with people. So hit us up. I think that's it.
That's it. I do want to say, we did it. Well, that's almost it. I do want to say thank you to Zach Berdier of Captive Portal Music for letting us use his track Intro for a Non-Existent Video Game. You can find that track and more at CaptivePortalMusic.com. So special thanks to him. We really like that track.
Yeah, what a cool dude.
Cool,
and
cool guy.
That's in the notes as well. And he was very generous in letting us use his music for the intro here. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. I'm Tim Catania.
I'm David Johnson.
Go get your pan on.
Go pan around.
Panic.
At the disco.
Or don't. Whatever you prefer.
Whatever. You cannot use a pan at all. Go crowbars and fools.
I'm on a new stance. This is my new political stance. Crowbars only. All right. See you next week.
See ya.